Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining. It's my pleasure to have you on the second edition of our Elevate series, which aims to share the expertise and insights from our team. My name is Jakub Lebuda. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Clipatize, and with me, we've got...
I'm Jan Kuczyński. Great to see you here. I am a Chief Innovation Officer and partner at Clipatize.
Great. Also sending heartfelt wishes to our partners and clients and friends in Dubai. I know that you suffered some intense storm yesterday, so I hope you are online. But if it would not be working, or you are just struggling to just handle this crisis, we will have another special session for you.
Please maybe just confirm in chat if you hear us well, because we had some audio issues. I hope it's all fine.
But yeah, you can use the chat box for this below.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Perfect sound. That's good news. All right. So the easiest thing is behind us. Now let's move on to something more sophisticated. So today we are hosting you on the session about immersive event experiences, and we want to specifically focus on healthcare. We will start with just a short introduction to lay out the ground, to show you how we think, where the reasoning comes from, and then we'd like to go more into examples. So we have handpicked some examples, actually Jan did. So we'd like to walk you through those. We will also work on how to roll out such a project so then it is successful and it's impactful. Please, if you have any questions along the way, just ask them here. We will accept your questions so that all the things that we say today are clear and actionable and useful. So yeah, as I said, thanks again for coming to the event entitled Immersive Event Experiences. I think event experiences sounds pretty clear and logical. What does immersive really mean? What does immersive really mean? Well, it's a bit of a buzzword. I hope it's not clickbait, but in our view, immersive means something that gets the attention, gets people focused, concentrated, so that we can actually influence them. We can influence their decision-making process and hopefully stay their top of mind when we actually when they are in during the purchase process. At Clipatize, we very much believe in hands-on experiences, so engaging your audience to actually do some, let's say, take part in the processes, to really be very direct in communication. And studies show that hands-on experiences actually increase knowledge retention by 75%. So according, to the Confucian philosophers, tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, but involve me and I will understand. So with this approach, we very much hope to help you achieve your business goals, we can see a couple of those goals. First of all, we've got the brand-related goal, which is to manifest the brand, show its relevance, show its power, because if you trust, you are more likely to make your decision-making process. Then the second one would be to educate. Educating is one of the most successful B2B marketing strategies. You are positioning yourself as an expert. You are a knowledgeable partner that your clients would reach out to if they have any questions. But last but not least, we've got lead gen, which is collecting contacts. This way you can actually try to convert. And actually during such events, healthcare events, you can aim to achieve 3 of those. It's just about defining what's best for you. Yet we've got some big challenges ahead. The events are quite special. First of all, we've got the robust space that is hard to navigate. Those event places are built from the bottom up over the period of maybe 24 or 48 hours. So every time you arrive at the event, it's a totally new geography to navigate. Sometimes it's spread across multiple halls. It takes a lot of physical fatigue to move from one place to another. Even distances could be as far as a couple of 100 meters or maybe even a kilometer or so. Then we've got the clutter of many brandings. There's cacophony of colors, lights, and people, and everyone is trying to send their message across. Definitely many distractions. And there is also an element of randomness. I know that some people say that it's good to get ready for an event, but I think really few of us do it. I mean, of us participants, not exhibitors. So there is some kind of space beyond our control. We don't really know who is visiting, who is approaching us, what are their goals, what are their motives, background, intentions, and so on. So I think this is, all those are very big challenges. I know that events are now back, but when planning what to do, we need to take into account all those. So I wonder how you really do it, Jan.
Yeah, regarding, I want to take one thing from what you said. So regarding the randomness and people around. So because you need to gather people to your booth, and the crowds are not bad. You can take advantage of that, because when you have a crowd and you are successful in dragging them to your booth, it gives like a social proof. So people drag other people. So you have this fear of miss out something important. So it's good to have, when you are asking about preparation, maybe to create some invitation, some plan how to get these people, and then engage them in other activities, starter journeys, to fully experience this, your brand, your products, or your services.
But how do you really get them? I mean, because it's easier said than done. How do you make sure they actually approach you? How do you grab attention?
Let me share my screen, maybe, so I can refer to particular examples. So there is like one of the tactics. It's creating, so we call it huge Instagrammable thing. It's a hit, just to easier recall it. And this is an object, 3D object that it can be really physical, only physical. But people like to check in during events. They are looking for objects or for some visuals that are relevant to the event's topic. So you can take advantage of that and prepare something, make it approachable, and make sure that it looks good in the camera when you are making selfie. So they are posting something that is already at your booth. You can start taking them over there, but this is grabbing this random people that are just sometimes wandering, looking for something interesting. So this is grabbing attention, and there is an activity behind, like doing the photo, and then you can approach them.
So I understand that during events, those spaces are so robust. All the logos that you see all over are very big. You should not think brochures, let's attract them with the brochures that we distribute, but rather let's put something really big they can take photo with, because obviously now we see people, making, even on a daily, they report on LinkedIn what is happening on each of those events, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you need it to be visible from a distance. Lots of companies, a lot of exhibitors are using LED screens, but these are not good to make photos. So it's not like very friendly for a camera, because it has high brightness. So you would prefer some well-lit object, physical 3D object that you can make a photo in front of. Sorry, and then eventually just drag people over other activities around. Speaking of this object, it can be like, for a cardiology congress, it can be a heart that is maybe somehow connected with your product or your service. It can be like a big item, your big product that's you can even hack to and make a photo. A great example to respond to planning your activities is preparing like we call it a focal point. So you can invite people, even not necessarily with online communication. It can be done during event, like you can see some countdown timer, and there is some reveal happening in 8 hours, 8 minutes, right? So this is some point that you can refer to planning your agenda and planning your journey around the event.
I think this is very interesting. Those events typically last at least full day. Sometimes they take 2, 3, or 4 days, and people move around randomly. If you manage to attract them maybe prior to the event with your social media communication, with your personalized mailing, they will actually put you on the calendar to come to your booth at a specific time when you have this reveal thing. So you have the focal point. So we have the huge Instagrammable thing, an object that is there more or less all the time. But then on as far as other tactics are concerned, let's have something that is, let's say, limited within time. So maybe like a presentation of key opinion leader, or a product launch, product premiere, handout of some kind of cool gadgets. So specific focal point in time.
Exactly. Then you are becoming the reference point for the other activities. So they know that at the noon you should be there at the booth of this particular company, and you can see that it just gets crowds, and people get other people. So you get a cohort of people that start experiencing with other activities you've planned for them.
Great. So we at least know how to grab attention at the very beginning, but then everyone enrolled for this event to understand how we can develop immersive. And I understand you on a daily work with technologies, we can put technology to work to serve the purpose of immersive event experiences. Please walk us through your examples.
With a pleasure. So let's start from something really basic, I would say. So probably most of us have seen lots of touch screens during events. So these are interactive screens that you approach. You can have an impact on what you are presented.
So these are like big iPads or big tablets in a way?
Exactly. This is very, very similar. So that's why it's really intuitive for users to approach or start playing with that, because you know how to use your smartphone or the iPad. So if you craft the experience carefully, people can start the journeys from that point. So there are some interesting features that you can take advantage. So to make it even more immersive, so and the more inviting to play with. So for example, here you can see a screen that you have a full control over a nice image. It can be really high-end renders, because it's not coming from internet. It's not like a website, but this is still like it is interactive. What's important, you can have like a multi-touch screens. So people around that big screen can approach it and have their own journeys, not disturbing each other. The part of the screen. This one is presenting one-to-one, but you can have like a multiple use. You can see it here on the right side.
I'm actually curious about this bottle of wine. What is doing there?
This is cool because it's as you can see, you don't necessarily need your fingers or hands to manipulate the virtual content. You can use physical object, which is great because people like tangible experiences during events. So you can, these are semi-transparent stickers that you can stick to an object or your product, and then trigger different content for each product you have. It can be dozens of products.
I understand that if your product is robust, because this is the case often in healthcare, like I don't know, ultrasound machine, or you could actually have those, let's say, micro models, that
Micromode 3D
those,
prints,
yeah.
it
3D
can be a
prints.
probe, whatever you want. It should be just handy. You need to grab it in your hand and place it on top of the table, and then trigger some content, which you can manipulate later on with your fingers, so expand some other parts. What's important to mention is that people are quite afraid of this big size devices, because they are afraid of making fools of themselves, not knowing how to use it.
I actually saw on many events, I've seen those abandoned touch screens, and I was always wondering, why is that?
Yeah, people simply don't know how to use it instantly. They need some assistance, which is great. So I would suggest to provide some guidance, some assist that you can show people how to use it, but plan it more for the user, not for the assistant. So the user should clearly know what to do, how to approach it. So have like a clear one-step call to action, just click here, and then you can guide them through next steps virtually there.
Okay, so I'm having two takeaways from what you said. First one is that technology itself will never work. So you should have a crew that is trained and welcoming, so they can actually attract the audience and invite them and maybe start to walk them through the touch screen. Then obviously they can give the floor to the visitor, but let's say the starting point would be either with a nice hookup question, like a call to action, but ideally this is a physical person, a real person that can help you.
Exactly, but you just need to be sure that you are designing these things for the people, for the end users, not for the guides, not for assistants.
So simplify, yeah,
simplify it, yeah, super simple. And it's much better to have a touch table instead of touch wall. You can see here there is a touch wall, but people are really afraid approaching this kind of touch walls because you feel like a presenter, so you feel you need to know what to do. So this one, it's really great when you have this assist, like a salesperson that is approaching this wall with you and doing talking with you. It can they can just touch the areas of the skin and trigger some extra content.
So this is my second takeaway. So the first one would be obviously welcome someone designed for the user, but the second one is that obviously big touch screens are epic when you look at the booth, because there is some big kind of video scenography. But on the other hand, people don't feel they are intimate enough, so they might be afraid to really approach them. If you have it lying on a table, the screen is on the table, then you're probably more willing to approach it, because you are not afraid of people looking through your back that you are making some kind of navigation mistake. Or
exactly, it's much more intimate experience. But let's move on, maybe, because we have plenty of examples that I wanted to
tons of examples,
to show, because technology is it's really developing, so you can see more and more really immersive stuff during events. One of this kind is this holographic cube. It's like a box that you see, and the content is displayed there is in 3 dimensions. So you don't need any 3D glasses to feel this third dimension of the object. So it's great because it's for multiple people. So it's not like a single perspective. It's just whoever approaches it sees it in 3 dimensions. So it's like this lenticular images. So you could probably see on postcards, but it's much more high end, and the resolution, the quality is much better. And what's building this immersion, you can have this gesture sensors that allows you to play with the content. So the content is not static. It's search just for you. So you can expand elements. You can go through the body, for example, and show how some product work inside. So you have a control on what you are being presented.
I see. So this is like minority report type of technology, gesture operations. You don't need to touch the screen, but you can do it a bit from the distance.
Exactly.
And how big are those solutions? I mean, are there, because I can see someone handling them in their hands. Is they're small or?
Yeah, these are various sizes, like, starting from like a phone size, and the biggest I've seen, it was like a big display monitor, so it's 24-inch or maybe 32. It was maximum, because these are like stacked OLED displays that require quite a technology to be working. But
Right.
these are like ready event ready devices.
And how much content can you upload on those? Because we just see some, these are GIFs here, so we just see a bit. Is it like we can have just one object, or it's like we can have multiple images inside? How complex are those?
From the experience perspective, it's good to have like a one object that you are playing and you can expand something. But from a technical perspective, you can have like a really robust experience here, because there is like a computer behind, so you can have multiple 3D objects that you are triggering either with your gestures or having like a second control unit like an iPad or whatever, and you can connect these technologies. So this is not an issue.
So you can actually, with this, what it's called, hologram technology?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's like a holobox.
Okay, so with this holobox, I understand that you can actually have a pretty complex and pretty comprehensive presentation of the product that you are offering, or of your offering as such. Yeah.
Yeah, but as you can see, it's again more intimate. So it's not for crowds. It's more for a single person to use, one-to-one, or people are watching how someone is using that.
Okay,
but
I hope this is clear. If you have any questions, if anything is not clear, just let us know in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move on to other examples. But feel free to interrupt us if something is not clear. We are bringing a bit of new technologies here, so the questions are very much welcome.
So another technology that is presenting and more is resembling this real holographic experience is these are like LED fans that are spinning really fast and serving images for your eye. It's quite tricky to record this with your camera because of the different shutter speed, but you see it clearly there.
So I understand that we have it's like a glass box with a fan inside turning, and there is LED light that actually
disappears where it's spinning.
Okay,
right?
So actually it can display a sophisticated 3D image. Yeah, that's like a type of a hologram.
You can see it here like a basic version, and that's when it's turned off. So you can see this is like a simple fan. But when it starts spinning and serving the pixels, the stroboscopes, you are starting to get this 3D image, and it looks like really floating in the air, and it works even for a bright background. So it's really great to see this third dimension.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask, because the event halls, sometimes they are, there's a lot of light just to display physical products, but I understand LED is visible even in this type of lighting.
Yeah, it is. It's super bright, and what's more important, you can stack them over. You can stack them or build matrices. So you can see this is like 6x4. So the size can be really big. It doesn't consume too much energy, so it can have like a 3 or 4 meters wide.
Okay, so it can actually be a type of a massive scenography that is attracting people from all around. Yeah,
exactly. You just need to protect it with some glass, because you don't want people to put hands in the fan. So usually it has this the glass cover. It's not always a fan. It's sometimes it's rotating a different way. So you can see here. So it's like enclosed in some tube. So you can walk around and see how it looks.
Great. Okay. What else do you have for us, Jan?
So next thing is this is like a cabinet. with augmented reality. So you have like a physical object inside, a phantom, whatever it is, your product, and you have a glass or a display that is semi-transparent, and you can control it by touch. And then you're serving some extra visual content that's augmenting the object you have inside.
Right. So I understand that typically augmented reality is associated with, let's say, personal mobile phone that you can display some object that is not visible. I mean, it's visible just through your phone. It augments the physical space around you. But those solutions, what are they called? Hollow boxes?
Yes, this is but this is, there are a variety of producers of this. This is a high box actually. So and you can see there are different sizes, with or without touch. So you can have an object inside, or you can have like a virtual layer, but this volume of it just gives you the impression it's a 3D object placed inside.
So I understand that we've got here augmented reality, but not within the size of our phone, but something that can be as big as a human being, right? So you can put your product inside, and then you can put on the screen, I understand you put the layer of additional information that describes it, specification, performance, and so on.
Exactly. It's not tracking the image constantly like normal augmented reality. It's just, you are preparing it for the object you have placed inside. So you have to do this calibration once, and then you see it placed accordingly.
Yeah, to me it gives this techie feel. So yeah, I think it could be great for events.
So speaking of augmented reality, and because sometimes you don't have that much space at your booth, so you cannot put all this.
Yeah, the space is very expensive. Yeah,
exactly. Some events are small, or there are congresses that you need safe space. So it's great to have something that enables this virtual layer, but so you can have like a sticker on the floor that's triggering this augmented reality.
But my question is because, I know how augmented reality works, and I think our guests as well, but you always need to download this application, and I don't know would this be attractive for the visitors of the booth?
Not anymore. These experiences I'm presenting are purely based on a system browser at your phone. So you're simply scanning QR code, and you are being redirected to a website. You just need to allow some sensors, like camera and some other sensors to be able to read the environment around you, and then you can see it here. It's quite accurate with placing these objects around. So it's great for post-event activations. So you can have something like that on the event, and still give this feeling for a home use. So you are just giving away maybe some physical leaflets, some cardboard that are markers. So I have the marker, I'm putting it on my table at my home, and starting the same journey, or continuing the journey I started on the booth.
I see. So for example, I get a brochure, I speak with maybe a product manager during the exhibition, I receive a handout, or maybe something like company swag, a nice water bottle with an imprinted QR code. And then when I'm back home, I can scan it, and then I will have this augmented reality experience back at home.
Yeah, or show it to your colleagues.
How about analytics? Is it possible to track if someone was really interacting with our material?
It's like a normal website. You can track everything. So there are full analytics behind. So even if you send out like a link or QR code with email, you can have a unique ID for this user, and check how this person is using your app, what products he or she is interested in. So it's great to get this feedback. But this is more for tech-savvy people. I would say. So because you shouldn't be afraid of just scanning QR code, allowing sensors. There are some drawbacks, but still, if you plan the journey well, it's great for the whole experience, starting from the booth, ending at your office or home.
And that's why we can come back to this welcoming team that is well trained, and that can actually help the visitor to enable this augmented reality experience on their mobile phones, right?
Exactly. People, they should be always familiar with all the devices or all the technologies you have on your booth, and the full journey you want to guide your users through.
Amazing. Okay, what else have you got for us?
Maybe just one more thing regarding the augmented reality. It doesn't have to be like a super 3D thing. Sometimes it's it's more important to have like a impact on a different level. Here we had a leaflet, physical one, and we knew that doctors are not knowing how the imaging quality looks, so we enabled it within this cardboard leaflet.
Can you zoom in a bit so we see it better?
Yeah, so we had like markers on each card, and you could launch it with your phone. You could see actual clinical image from the device, so you can build credibility to the product.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. So far I was associating augmented reality mostly with 3D objects. Even in consumer world, you can see some kind of cases we've seen online, like dinosaur coming out of the big wall or something like this. But I understand that you can also use augmented reality to deliver, for example, video content that is educational, or product presentations and so on and so forth, right?
Exactly. It can be like even a text. It can be an image. But videos are great if you want to attach them to some physical object. So you can have like a physical object, physical device, and show in augmented reality how to operate it, for example. So part of the device are these trackers. So you can just display over some buttons how it works or what is it for.
So let's say when you're designing some kind of material, be it a physical object or be it a brochure, you can even leave some space for something like a screen that would later on serve as a place to display various content.
It can be like that. It can float in the air, whatever. So, because in augmented reality, they are not limited to physical regulations.
Okay, let's move on. Augmented reality, I guess this is clear. Do you want to add anything, or we can see some other
just
examples?
Because we got used to hybrid events. So it was also great to connect people that are remote with the augmented reality. So we could send like a QR code or just enable them and show our booth in a virtual space. Or it could be designed for a virtual experience. But if we had like a presentation on our event, we could have it recreated in this virtual augmented space. So you have only your phone, and on your desk you would see this guy just presenting, for example. So you are feeling a part, because it can be a live event. You can feel a part of the launch, for example.
Okay, clear.
So to get even more immersive,
virtual reality,
it's
right?
virtual reality. That's true. And
it's been here for quite some time, I guess. Yeah,
it is, but it's becoming more common. People got used to it and know how to operate it, but not everyone. But it's not perfect for every marketing project. It's good to simulate some important things, how your product works or how your services look, because you need to put a headset, which is not, people don't like it that much, especially during the events that are crowded, because you are in a high awareness mode. You want to be aware what's around you, and you don't want to be enclosed within that piece of glasses.
I see. Okay.
But what's great about virtual reality, that this headset serves like a different image for every eye, so you feel a full 3 dimension with that. and you have these manipulators, so you can simulate some examination, some operations, etc. So this you can have it, but you need to know the goal.
I think I'm not so sure if you can see us. Hopefully, yes. Okay, I think my screen is back. So if you would have troubles, let us know. But I hope visuals are back.
Yeah, so just maybe one more remark regarding this virtual reality. It needs full assistance, because you need to put it on someone's head as an assistant. You need to clean it after the use. You need to guide these people, and it's good to have like a comfy chair that you can just feel safe when you are using that, unless you need to manipulate and walk around. But this is during event. It's more limited. I would say it's good if you have like a workshops during event, and you can just move people to another area and then show this simulations in a controlled environment. But there is a solution for that as well. If you want to keep it, you want to serve it on your booth, you can use so-called mixed reality.
It looks like a bit like Apple Vision Pro.
It's it's very similar, but this is actually HoloLens made by Microsoft. So it's responding more to what I've said about enclosing you, because in Apple Vision you are closed and you have like this boundary. So I can't see your eyes. You cannot see the peripheral. You don't have this peripheral view. But here you are seeing real environment and have still this virtual layer in front of your eyes.
So it works a bit like a mix of virtual reality and augmented reality.
Exactly.
In fact, mixed reality.
That's why it's like that. So you can control things via gestures. And you are provided full 3D image. So you can see here that is really good to show some medical objects, some present how some operations look, or how the objects are inserted inside the body. You can go through the layers of the body. You can control it via gestures once you are familiar. Usually you are not. So it's good to have like a remote controller with something which is something that you are really familiar. So your phone, for example, because you know how to swipe, how to control on your smartphone, but you are seeing it in a virtual layer. You are having your phone, but in a virtual reality and this augmented reality, you see this 3D object. The experience is really, really immersive. It's really, really great. You can feel literally the objects in front of you.
And I can see that, well, the level of detail is very high with those. I mean, the images that you've shown below, those models are very sophisticated. You can really zoom in and you can see all the details. So I think they could have also some kind of clinical use, not only exhibition or marketing purpose, but also training or clinical.
Actually, it is used by that. We know that it's connecting with some ultrasonography devices. So as a doctor, you can have like a real-time view and a 3D spatial view of the scanning. So not flat. You can just go through that, and this is really, it's a wow effect for doctors.
Great. Okay, so we've got another 15 minutes left. Let's move on. I understand this is our last example. Please let's discuss this, and then we'll obviously have a Q&A time.
It is. Yeah, speaking of simulators, because this VR or mixed reality is good for simulating things, showing how things work, how they perform. So
could you bring this one closer, because I can see some object here, but I don't know what this is.
Yeah, for sure. No problem. This is like a physical, more tangible simulator of an ultrasonography device. We created this project for having some insights from previous events, that, knowing that doctors wanted and liked to compete with each other, and they wanted to see how the scanning works. Because not every doctor is familiar with that, but maybe you want to get to know more about the product, and we bring the gamified content inside. So you can see here that there was a phantom, physical phantom. It had lots of sensors inside, and your goal as a player was to guess what organ we are presenting you and what probe it was scanned with. So you needed to pick a right probe and scan the right organ to get the quest.
I just received a message that there might be some sound difficulties, that you might not hear us. So let's give us just a minute to check this. If you could just give us some feedback in the chat box, if you can still hear us.
Should be working. We can hear you now. Okay.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much. All right, let's move.
So we had this, a scoreboard, so leaderboard. So once you were done, you were presented your score, and we had a magnetic scoreboard that you could be placed and then awarded with some prizes. So it was quite easy to set up, and with some video instructions that we've made. This is quite fun to interact with and get familiar with the product, because physical objects like this huge Instagrammable things, these are incentives to make photos, to share the contents, and it drags attention, and then it immerse you in this form, and it was gamified content. And then later on, in the next phase, it could have like some form to get some leads, for example. So it can be accordingly planned.
I mean, this one looks like a pretty sophisticated project with both the software layer, the game that is on the iPad. And we also have the hardware layer, which are the sensors in this Phantom. I mean, I understand it takes a bit of thinking to come up with this specific solution. So, Jan, can you give us some advice? Let's say we are exhibiting in a couple of months. How do we start such a project to develop an immersive event experience asset? What would be the first step for us?
First, what we do is having a chat and trying to get the most of what the product is, what is it for, how it works. So the more knowledge we have about the product, the better experience we can create then. And we need to know some insights from you. So
give me an example. Yeah, what's an insight?
I was describing this issue with this vScan holder.
Maybe you can just show it again. Yeah.
Yes, this one. So doctors were considering it as a toy because it was handheld and it was years ago. So it wasn't just credible, and they were not sure about the imaging quality. And having that insight, we could decide, okay, so let's have one-to-one mock-up so they can feel it in their hands. Let's provide this image quality in the AR layer. So we solved their problem, just providing this experience, which was like normally you could probably do a leaflet or something like that.
Okay, so I understand that we start with an insight. So something like a good understanding of what the client wants or misses, and to get this, we ideally refer to previous experiences. So maybe
exactly
some teams that were exhibiting before, or maybe to the sales team that is showing the device. I understand in this case, the doctors didn't really believe that they didn't exactly know how big it is, or they didn't know if it works well or not in terms of imaging quality. So we start with this, let's say, strategic foundation for the further development. And then what happens next? I mean, how much time we really need to have to develop anything that is immersive?
It depends how you're planning your event, because it can be one-off, it can be a series of events.
Okay.
So we can approach it in a different way. So usually we would create like a MVP, so-called minimum viable product. So something that works, provides this value, but at the basic level, just to validate if we were right. So not to spend too much budget in something that is missing some point. It's just by some means it just wouldn't work.
So we are not trying to build a massive system that will take months and tens of thousands of dollars, but we would rather focus on specific challenge, specific goal, build something smaller, and then what happens next?
Yeah, here actually it was you could test it on a live model, and see if people are willing to approach, and then see how they scan it. If they are liking to compete, we knew it, so we could convert it into working project. So we need to know some budget limitations. So if you are having one-off event, probably you have secured some budget for that. So working with that, we can adapt with these technologies we've shown you, and many more. But either we create like a more approachable virtual experience, or we are going more into physical ones, because it's all these things consume budget. If this is virtual, sometimes we need some budget for licensing.
Okay, so because I like the concept of going beyond one-off, because one-off means lots of work and then just one occasion to show it. I like the concept of having this for multiple events. So on the budget side, what do you need to take into account, or let's say planning and so on?
Yeah, so this is maybe licensing I mentioned. It is, of course, the budget for building it, testing it, and then for servicing it. For this kind of examples, we need to, if it's a multi-event approach, in between we need to check it. Sometimes it's something stops working, gets some fatigue, needs replacement, so we need to secure some budget for that as well. It's good to have especially for first use, like a assist, technical assist, and someone from our team assisting you, just even setting it up, checking what's working, how it's working, how people, life people just on the events, how they are using that, so we can address these issues on next steps. We're building, improving it for the next events.
Yeah, because I see this as, on one hand, we've got a huge benefit because we can have an asset for multiple events. On the other hand, sometimes we just ship it to another office within our region. Let's say we ship it from Poland to Germany or to France, and there is a totally new team working with this. How do you make sure that it's not a failure? Because those solutions are still quite complex technologically.
Yeah. So in this example, we created video tutorial. So step by step, how to set it up, how to run it, how to troubleshoot some things. So we could have like a face-to-face, and actually we had it here. So some person from the company that is guided hands-on, so they can just transfer the knowledge internally and be a internal support for that. We can be an external, but it's good to know to have someone that is feeling it is kind of owner of this experience. And regarding the budget, you are speaking of moving it across locations. You need to keep it in mind that sending this kind of objects requires some. It's not usual objects. it's like quite a volume. Sometimes it's quite heavy. So you need to secure a budget just for moving it from one event to servicing, from servicing to the next event, etc. So
okay, so it should be within the plan, yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much, Jan. Thank you so much for preparing those examples. We have shared those with you already in the chat, but we will follow up with an email, send the material again. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, unless you have some right now, so shoot us. But if not, I guess we will leave you the last 5 minutes of this hour to have your coffee before you jump into your other meeting. So thanks so much again, and hope to see you during our next events. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.